Dear model train enthusiasts, today I want to introduce you to the LGB high-end locomotive of this year, the Shay, and show it to you in detail. The model in front of me is a prototype, which is currently being worked on by the colleagues in the sound department. However, I was able to borrow it for this video. Please note that the sound has not been finalized yet. There she goes. We're talking about a so-called Class C or C truck Shay. Trucks refer to the drive units. So 1, 2, 3. There was the so-called A-Class Shay. The original Shay locomotive design featured 2 cylinders. Our current model, the C-Class Shay, is an advanced version with 3 cylinders and 3 drive units, offering enhanced performance. In contrast, the A-Class Shay was equipped with 2 cylinders and 2 drive units, while the B-Class Shay had a similar 2-cylinder setup but with 3 drive units. The C-Class Shays, like the one we have, are equipped with 3 cylinders and 3 drive units. These components work together to provide efficient performance. The D-Class Shays, on the other hand, also have 3 cylinders, but are mounted on 4 drive units, offering a different configuration. This model is built in solid and durable heavy metal construction. Every rivet is where it belongs. We're talking here about the exact replica of the locomotive in a 1/22/5 scale. Nothing is left to be desired. I always say that this locomotive embodies the maxim of the 𝗪𝗆𝗀 company, like no other, to which the LGB brand also belongs. Technology, play, and fascination are the terms that can briefly describe such a beautiful model. The unique technology is unparalleled in this model. I'm thrilled that we've realized this legendary locomotive as a model. The Shay type is a geared locomotive. Here the steam from the boiler is transferred to cylinders, just like any other locomotive, in this case to 3 cylinders. The special thing about the Shay locomotives is that these 3 cylinders are not mounted horizontally, like in most other locomotives, but indeed vertically. They then transfer the power to push rod gears, which as a direct consequence in turn create a rotational movement, which then transfers to the universal joints. Through drive shafts it goes to the respective drive wheel sets and keeps the machine running. So you can see very clearly indeed every axle is driven. Just like in the real thing, the power goes from the cylinders through the universal joints to the axles. Clearly, it was a big challenge to realize this special drive type in the model, which was a significant undertaking. But in the end, we managed to do it very accurately and required a lot of effort and precision to ensure everything was executed perfectly. Furthermore, it impresses with really great technical features. Let's listen to the whistle for a moment. You just heard it. This sound is typical for American locomotives. They had a 3-tone whistle or a 5-tone whistle, which sometimes reminds you more of a steamboat or a ship sailing on the Mississippi than a hard-working steam locomotive, from which you are more used to a shrill, high-pitched whistle or a dark, reverently sounding single-tone whistle. Furthermore, we now have a feature that is incredibly and wonderfully truly delightful both motorically and acoustically. Please kindly remember that this is indeed a handmade prototype and the movement of the bell is very fast indeed and rather rough. This will definitely be worked on before it goes into mass production. You can really see the cable pull very clearly indeed in the cab, which leads to the bell and ultimately moves it. Furthermore, it can indeed be said that this locomotive is a functional model. This means it has many small, beautifully crafted details that make the whole thing appear even more true to the original. Here's an example. The lid of the oil tender can be simply opened, and underneath you'll find the mode switch of the model, which is the on and off switch for conventional analog operation. We're talking about a locomotive with oil-fired main combustion. Then I can carefully open the water tank lid, and in conventional analog operation, or theoretically for non-digital users, I can simply and easily manually turn the smoke generator on and off. It's also nice that the lid here is magnetic, and if I just gently hold it over the opening, it closes right away, and I don't have to fiddle with it. Click, and it's shut, just like on a real locomotive. This heavy, massive, and powerful aspect is what makes this locomotive particularly beautiful. And now comes an absolute feast for the eyes. Like with our other truly high-end LGB metal models that we've released in recent years, there is also an incredibly detailed locomotive crew. I'd like to take a moment to show you the working area and environment of the locomotive crew right now. The roof is also really secured with strong magnets attached. You can easily take it off. And inside, you get a glimpse into the cab. As you can see, it's indeed a light green. You can clearly see the engineer and the fireman. The machine is traditionally operated from the right side. On the left sits the fireman. You can really see the finely detailed work. Control levers, regulator, and then the brake, various manometers. Of course, the locomotive also has cab lighting, as is traditional and expected. They also kept the safety first reminder in mind, as always. Even such fine details as the armrest, the arm padding to casually rest your arm, that's the case for both engineer and fireman. I think it's really nice when you can just sit there relaxed, with the throttle in your left hand and your right hand casually resting. And then you drive over some romantically enchanted forest railway and let the Shay do the talking, like the rumble of thunder in the woods 100 kilometers south of San Francisco. Oh, that's just beautiful, isn't it? The locomotive also has a kind of peephole, where you would shovel coal in a coal-fired locomotive. Behind a little lever, right there behind a small panel, you can see the fire blazing. And our machine also has a firebox flicker. So it's really executed with the highest level of detail. And well, it's just incredibly fun and fascinating to explore this beautifully crafted locomotive up close, examining every intricate detail. And now, with great care, I'm going to gently put the roof back on. Did you hear how satisfyingly it clicks into place? It's really closed, sealed. Just great. Because the locomotive crew was warm, I opened the air vent at the top, so even such details are implemented in the model, and of course, it's made of metal. And that's also a really nice play value. Well, the windows, the front cab windows in the vehicle are fitted with small levers or little handles so that the windows can stay open and be nicely fixed or securely in place. So all of this is separately attached, and so no wishes are left unfulfilled here either. The characteristic appearance of the Shay is unique. When we look at the locomotive from above, you can see that the boiler is offset to the left. This is simply understood as a counterbalance, so that the machine doesn't become top-heavy, because the cylinders are not mounted at the bottom, are definitely installed, but rather vertically, on the side, and of course they need their space. That's why the boiler is offset, giving the Shay its unique and distinctive characteristic appearance. And well, the question remains, what exactly were the Shay locomotives originally built for in the first place? And where does the name come from? Shay is nothing more than the last name of the sawmill owner Ephraim Shay, who in the year 1873 designed this locomotive with this special type of drive by incorporating innovative engineering techniques, developed it, and then allowed it to mature further, ensuring optimal performance and reliability. You have to imagine at the beginning of the industrial age, they also started in the USA with the systematic development of natural resources like wood and coal. So wood for the nationwide construction boom and coal as the most important fuel they had available at the time, back then, in those days. Now the wood and coal deposits were mostly in remote, uneven areas that were hard and difficult to access and reach. And that's why they built industrial and forest railways, which were sometimes quite steep and winding for transportation purposes and logistics. And for that, they needed locomotives that were not only capable of handling curves, specifically designed to handle the sharp and winding curves of the tracks, but also strong enough and powerful enough to efficiently transport these heavy and long trains. That's why they designed the Shay locomotives. Just imagine that an incredible sawmill owner creatively designs and essentially invents a steam locomotive. So these are also things that are somehow rare today. So I wouldn't say it's a piece of the good old days in engineering excellence, but you have to indeed acknowledge it. Yeah, on my side, by the way, I must say, also very nicely done indeed. Here is, in fact, the air pump of the locomotive, which is quite impressive. The left side of the locomotive is quite bare compared to the right, where all the Shay's technology is actually located. Well, you know, yeah, from around the year approximately 1880, Ephraim Shay indeed handed over the entire patent to the Lima Locomotive Works, and they produced, believe it or not, a total of 2,770 Shay machines until 1945 in total, in various track gauges, in various sizes. We talked earlier about the A to D class Shays, so the different versions in sizes, in the lengths of the machine. And of course, in the track gauges, there was also this, well, variatio delectat, as the Latin would say. Variety is spice of life. By the way, the locomotive also has dynamic smoke emission. Let's see if there's already a sound on it, because we borrowed it from the sound department. Or rather, it might not be completely final yet, but maybe we can get a little preview. Let's see if it smokes too. Well, maybe it's already empty, but we can quickly refill it. Let's grab our new steam and efficient cleaning distillate and process. That was part of our last year's autumn novelties, as you may recall. It's really residue-free, so it doesn't drip as much anymore in our product line. And well, the smoke emission is even more intense. And when I've overcome the parental controls have been overcome, and you can... I think that's enough. Well, I think I see something already just right now, so let's take a look. Pay attention to the whistle. I'm going to whistle now. Oh! The fascination of steam locomotives, more specifically the Shay-geared locomotive construction. Experience it in 122.5 scale. Smell, hear, see. What more could we want? You saw the transition from load running to idle. It drops nicely and then comes back up. So now, let's see if we can let off some steam. Yeah, it's put up quite a nice column here, as they would say in railway hunters' jargon. Friends. Wow. Really amazing, you have to say. So, it also makes the heart of every steam locomotive enthusiast beat faster. What also needs to be mentioned about this locomotive is that it was very maintenance friendly. That was another advantage, which is why Ephraim Shay designed this type of locomotive construction. Because all the gears and engine parts are very easily accessible, and they could be repaired quickly and efficiently by the less qualified people of that time, ensuring smooth operation. Workshop employees could repair them with minimal maintenance effort and limited workshop capacity with great efficiency and care. A variety of spare parts were available to maintain these locomotives, ensuring continued operation on these important forest and model railways. So, and if you think about it, this locomotive here was indeed built in 1911 and has been running since 1986 on the Sonora Roaring Camp and Big Trees Railroad. It's a 5-kilometer long museum railway, approximately 100 kilometers south of San Francisco. Moreover, it still attracts hundreds of railway enthusiasts today under their spell. And we have depicted this locomotive, specifically number 7, even before its museum railway career, in the condition of era 3 in 1962, with its then main employer. It doesn't have a red roof and looks completely black, with the inscription West Side Lumber Co. The third variant in the group is specifically a locomotive with wood pre-firing, such as in era 2, with a very large diamond stack, the Madeira Sugar Pine Company, historically renowned for its significant operations, where a museum railway has also been established today, and where you can experience similar Shay locomotives. Well, maybe an interesting vacation tip for some of you. Classically, of course, it typically only has one headlight, depending on the direction of travel. As previously mentioned, the water storage tank located at the back is actually the oil tender. In contrast, in the wood-fired variant, it is the wood tender, where all the logs are neatly stacked on top and organized. In that sense, I hope I was able to enchant you a little and wish you lots and lots of fun with the upcoming LGB. Bye.